Season 1.5 is here. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Gotenks are leaving their mark on the meta, and we just got some huge nerfs and buffs to some pretty significant characters on the roster as well. So now is as good a time as any to do our mid-season tier list. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra video. And with all of the nerfs and buffs that have happened since the start of season 1, and with how the meta has developed over the past month and a half at this point, I think now is as good a time as ever to finally rank all of these characters. Now, spoiler alert, this is gonna look a lot different from our season 0 tier list with all of the changes to certain characters, with the new characters that we've gotten. I think things have moved around enough, and I've gotten a much better understanding of the game to kind of be a little bit more confident with where I'm putting some characters, and gotten a lot more experience with other characters that I may have fairly ranked last time, that I think this tier list is going to be a lot more realistic for a lot more people. So without further ado, let's hop right in with the first character being Super Saiyan Goku, one of the most controversial characters at this point, especially since he was so strong through all of season 0 and through most of season 1 as well, until he just recently got nerfed with the season 1.5 update. So Super Saiyan Goku, honestly guys, I think he's still an S tier character. I know he just got nerfs to Meteor Hammer, I know he just got nerfs to Kaioken, but Kaioken in itself, we do have it lasting for a longer duration. I think it went from 0.75 seconds to like 1 second. His strike attack up effect did get decreased by, like, I think this was actually the biggest nerf to him. These values were decreased by like 200 to 250 points throughout all levels. His movement speed boost was also decreased. I don't know the exact numbers on that, I would have to pull it up. And the effect time caused by Meteor Hammer Kaioken and Kaioken Kamehameha was also shortened from 2 seconds to 1 as well. So while these may seem like staggering nerfs on behalf of this character, I still think that he does his job extremely well. He's still one of the easiest characters to pick up and play in the game, as he should be, being the face of Dragon Ball. I just don't think they knocked him out enough to really take him down to like A or B rank. Maybe some of you guys disagree. He's not going to be at the top of S rank. There's obviously characters that I feel like are better than him at this point in time. He's probably no longer the best character in the game, but he's still S tier in my opinion. So next is going to be Piccolo. Piccolo, I am so happy to say that I feel like this character is S tier now. Piccolo also received some buffs in the initial season 1 update. Not the season 1.1 patch notes, but the season 1 patch notes, if I'm not mistaken, that were announced in developer letter 2. Maybe I could be wrong about that. Maybe it was developer letter 1. But Piccolo, he got a lot of buffs. Piccolo was given more damage on his light grenade, I think it was. He was given a shorter charge time on special beam cannon, and he's just a lot better now in my opinion. I do think that one of the most glaring weaknesses of Piccolo is his mobility is really low. Now I do know that he has Demon Whip as his skill 3, but a lot of that, you know, depends on where you are on the map. If you're not anywhere where you can effectively, you know, maybe teammates are distracting the opponent that's chasing you down with their attacks, and you're able to latch onto a wall that's not too far away and get that extra distance between you and your opponent, then yeah, Demon Whip is pretty good. But other than that, and also there are certain walls and structures and rocks and stuff that are able to be destroyed on the map with like Kamehameha and things like that as well. So Demon Whip is kind of situational in my opinion. Obviously that is his mobility skill, but outside of certain scenarios, it just doesn't really work out too well for me that much. But outside of that, I still feel like Piccolo is really, really good. Hellzone Grenade is still really good. Light Grenade, like I said, honestly, I get just as many snipes with Light Grenade as I do with Special Beam Cannon, and I don't even have to go over Special Beam Cannon with you guys. All of us have been hit by it before. All of us have gotten 6 snipes with it before. Piccolo is in a great spot right now. He could probably use maybe a very, very slight nerf. Honestly, I take that back. Leave Special Beam Cannon as is. He has to charge it up. People can see you charging it just like a Kamehameha. He can't really like move it when he shoots it or anything like that, like Super Saiyan 3 Goku can do with this Kamehameha. Leave Special Beam Cannon as is. If you get hit by it, you just got smoked. I'm sorry. Next is going to be Android 18. Now this one might seem a little controversial because Android 18 on my first tier list for this game, she was at the top of S tier, but this was before nerfs and buffs came to the game. This was before we got a couple of new characters, and while I don't really think Android 18 herself is necessarily the cause of where I'm gonna put her right now. I think it's the state of the game in itself. We kind of have better ways to deal with her. There are better DPS characters than her at this point in time. So for that fact, I think I'm gonna put Android 18 at the back of S tier. I still think she's a really good character. She is still very tricky to deal with, especially if she's able to get her combo off on you. Early game, I'm not really too scared of her, but late game, she is still very spooky to see on the other side of the map from you. She's still extremely good at, you know, stealing objectives and things like that. Still does a ton of burst damage. I don't really think, unless they touch her specifically, that she'll necessarily leave S tier until we just get characters that are vastly better than her. But for right now, I think I'm cool with putting her at the back of S tier. Super Saiyan Trunks. Are you guys gonna be mad at me if I put Trunks behind these 3 DPS right here? Because that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put Trunks at the top of A tier, mainly because I just think that the DPS ahead of him just do what he wants to do a little bit better. Now, I still pretty much feel the same way about Trunks as I did in our first initial season 0 tier list. I just feel like with the changes to certain characters and with the addition of new characters on the roster, they've just been soundly placed above him at this point. So at this moment in time, I'm comfortable putting Trunks back in A tier. Still really no movement for him on my tier list as of yet. Super Saiyan Vegeta. I think I will go ahead, as much as I love this character, I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for, just because he's so baseline and so just fundamentally good at everything, but not necessarily great at one thing besides getting, you know, shields and things like that. Do I want to put him in B tier? I think I will put Super Saiyan Vegeta in B tier, just because I feel like most other tanks, except for maybe one, are just outright better than him. Like I said, when it comes to Vegeta, he's good at everything but great at nothing, in my opinion, besides, of course, you know, getting shields from all those different ways. He gets shields from his skill 1. I think he gets shields from his skill 3, and also Big Bang attack, his super attack as well. So outside of getting shields for pretty much breathing in the game, I don't know if I can put Vegeta above any of these other tanks right here. That also goes for the next tank we're gonna talk about as well, who, if he isn't the best character in the game, he is probably the easiest character to place in S tier at this moment in time, and that is gonna be Cooler, who I have no problem putting him at the top of S tier once again. I think in our last tier list, he was like number 2 or number 3. I think I can easily put Cooler at the top right now. Imperial Retaliation is just so obnoxious to deal with in this game because it changes the properties of all of his skills. His destruction rate does absolutely insane damage, especially at level 3. Death Stomper is completely insane. Death Chaser, just being able to slam you if Imperial Retaliation is active and stopping your movement for a second, just a split second, is enough for you to just absolutely explode, right? His super attack, Atomic Supernova, one of the most devastating in the game, pulls you into the center of it and just makes you just a sitting duck. Cooler is one of my favorite characters in the game. I think they should change him a little bit. I have so much fun with this character. I don't really want to, because he's one of my most played characters, but at a certain point in time, just like they did with Super Saiyan Goku, they're probably gonna adjust Cooler as well. But next is gonna be Zamasu, and I don't know, man. I feel like Zamasu has to go in front of Vegeta. I just have this bias towards Vegeta, if you guys don't know by now, but I kind of have to put Zamasu ahead of Vegeta, and I'll probably even put Zamasu up here in A tier. Now, obviously, he won't be at the front of A tier, but there's a lot going on with Zamasu, there's a lot that he has going for him that I feel like is really good. Body regeneration is one of the strongest passives in the game. He has one of the best kits in the game, in my opinion, with Fierce God Slicer, you know, dealing damage over time. His super attack having the area of movement speed down wherever it lands. His second skill, I can't remember the name of it. I think it's like Divine Rush or something like that. Being able to lunge towards opponents and like move them around against their will and things like that. And one of my favorite moves in the game, Heavenly Arrow, his projectile, his skill 1, being able to fire energy blast at opponents and apply that movement speed down. So he just has a lot of ways to manipulate the movement speed of opponents or enemy characters. And on top of his passive skill, I feel like Zamasu can be one of the most consistent characters in the game if he's used properly. Now going into somebody that just completely, I don't even know how many tiers up I'm about to move Kid Gohan. He's going straight in S tier. Kid Gohan, after I spent a couple of days using this character, now I'm pretty sure I said in my last tier list video, I don't have a lot of experience with Kid Gohan, at least at that point in time. But after that video, I had to go check this character out myself. Kid Gohan is probably, at least until the release of Gotenks had to be my favorite support character in the game. This kid is absolutely insane. Friendship boost, giving just all of that support to ally heroes. I think they get all defense up and all attack up. Masenko being able to push opponents around, and it's a great finisher as well, being able to kind of snipe opponents that maybe are out of your range, that maybe vanish stepped out of there once you stun them with your second skill, which is my favorite skill on this character. Masenko, his stun kick, this thing has secured so many kills for me, has been able to keep so many characters from getting back into position if they're just, you know, somewhere where they shouldn't be. You're able to fully charge up this kick, stun them, and then you and your ally just crash in on them with all of the damage possible, right? And again, you're able to finish off with Masenko, you're able to finish off with a super attack, but leave this to me, being able to put that barrier up around your ally heroes, being able to, you know, get out of there. If there have been some moments where, you know, people don't really know how to play with the kid Gohan, and instead of, you know, being just in range, letting you leap to them and put that barrier up and get all that support for you guys, they'll kind of just leave you there. And if they just leave you there and you don't have your charge kick up, Gohan is kind of a sitting duck, but odds are that's gonna happen, you know, less times than it will, right? And then his super attack, Exploding Rage, being able to do all that AoE damage and apply that support as well. And then the second part of Exploding Rage, Shattering Beam, being able to stun the opponent and do all that explosive damage as well. Kid Gohan is just absolutely phenomenal. I severely misjudged this character in season 0, so I'm glad I came around to being able to use him a lot more and seeing just how strong he is. Definitely one of my favorite characters in the game outside of Gotenks, probably my favorite support. Next, Krillin. I think Krillin is still S tier. S tier getting kind of heavy right now, but Krillin is right where he needs to be. I think being right behind Kid Gohan, he's just that's a good spot for him right now. I would probably actually put Kid Gohan above Android 18 right here, just to kind of, you know, this looks a little bit better to me. Kid Gohan above Android 18, and then her and Krillin right here together. That looks exceptional to me. Now, Krillin, you know, the same deal with him as last time. He has all these ways to mark characters. He has ways to extend the marked ability. And if you are marked, well, Scatter Kamehameha or Scatter Beam, I think it's called, and Destructo Disc are going to absolutely devastate you. Nothing's really changed with Krillin here. Still the same game plan as always. I really enjoy this character, but there are characters in the technical role that I do enjoy more at this point. But when I do, you know, have that itch, I'll play either Krillin or Frieza, right? Next is Majin Buu. This is a character, even through all of season 0, I still don't have a lot of experience with. I played with and against a lot of Majin Buus, especially since he got his buffs in the most recent patch, and I'll actually go over those right now. I don't know them off the top of my head. I know Strangle Gum and his base HP were both increased, the damage on Strangle Gum, that is, and he also had buffs to Healing Ray as well. I think the cancel distance was increased a little bit, and I think the range on Healing Ray was increased as well. Strangle Gum got a damage boost by like 250 points. I think the last level 3 of Strangle Gum went from like 600 damage to 900 damage. So there is a massive damage increase on Strangle Gum. Again, I don't have the most experience with Majin Buu. I just know what I've seen and what I played with at this moment in season 1.5. So if you guys don't agree, definitely let me know down below in the comments. But I just kind of have to, I feel like this is a safe spot for Majin Buu at this point in time. Dabura. I still feel like Dabura is an S tier character. I know S tier is getting a little top heavy, but there's really no bad character in this game, if I'm being honest with you guys. As of right now, I don't think there's a single bad character in Gekishin Squadra, so I would still probably put Dabura maybe right here behind Android 18, maybe in front of Krillin right here. I gotta break up the happy couple, unfortunately. Dabura is still an extremely strong character. His third skill at max level is absolutely devastating. Being able to take away Vanish with his spear, he's still just as devastating as he was a month ago. Being able to turn you into stone, that's his whole gimmick right there. If you aren't able to vanish out when your meter is almost full, you're pretty much dead. Maybe they could make the filling up the petrification gauge a little bit slower. That's how you kind of tame this character a little bit. But as of right now, Dabura is still easily an S tier character for me. Bojack. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, even if you don't agree, I feel like Bojack is easily B tier. I don't really see anything good about this character except for his third skill, where he calls in, you know, the Bojack gang and things like that. I think they adjusted this as well in a prior patch. I don't know which one it was off the top of my head, but I think they adjusted like the order or something like that with how he is able to call in the henchman for his skill 3. sure, whatever. I think there's a couple of other things that they could do to maybe fix Bojack a little bit. If he was able to move with his ultimate attack, I think he'd instantly be better. But as of right now, maybe this is a little harsh. I don't really like Bojack that much in this game. I still don't think he's a bad character. He's just obviously weaker than a lot of these other DP characters, right? Maybe you guys don't agree. Let me know down below in the comments. As of right now, I'm not really a big Bojack fan. Now on to Oob. Oob is still easily an A tier character in my opinion. If you want to put him, if you yourself want to put him in S tier, I probably couldn't blame you. But for right now, I think I might still put him somewhere in the range of Trunks. Now, he obviously doesn't do as much burst damage as Trunks, but with all the damage he's able to do, you know, in the span of one combo with Cyclone Stream, with all of his attacks, you know, put together, and then his super attack is absolutely devastating as well. I think he's able to increase the speed of his rush attack and his skill 3, if I'm not mistaken. So if Oob is able to even out level you a little bit or just maneuver around you in a better manner than you're able to do, he probably will kill you. I think Oob is in a great spot right now. If they made him any stronger, he'd probably be way too oppressive with his Cyclone. So I feel like for right now, at least, Oob is in a really good spot. First form Frieza. I feel like with the changes Frieza got in not the most recent update, but I think the one right before that, the update where Piccolo got changed as well, Frieza's in a pretty good spot. If he is able to set up defense on a base with Zarbon and Dodoria while the rest of his team is on attack, he is very difficult to deal with. Those turrets are extremely oppressive, especially Zarbon at level 3. He just absolutely nukes you with his what is it, Elegant Blaster? I forget the name of Zarbon's signature. I think it's Elegant Blaster though, if I'm not mistaken. That thing at level 3 is absolutely oppressive. And then Dodoria just being able to push you back into Zarbon if he sets it up in a certain way, it's just ridiculous, man. I really like playing Frieza, but I feel like with Frieza, you have to play a little bit more patient and you have to kind of play a little bit smarter than other characters, because setting up Zarbon and Dodoria in the right spots is really how this character is going to shine. So right now, I feel like Frieza is in a good spot somewhere in A tier. I don't know if this exact spot in A tier is where he should be, but in A tier itself is definitely just a good spot for him right now. Baby is a kind of complicated one for me because I have a love-hate relationship with this character. I haven't played him nearly as much as I used to in the beta since the game fully launched and he got all those nerfs, but it's not specifically because he got nerfed like that. It's really just because there's been so many other characters that have not only been buffed, but new character releases that are just so much more fun than Baby in my opinion. It's kind of hard to go back to this character on the regular, and I also don't see him nearly as much as I used to either, and that is probably because of the nerfs. His passive skill is still one of the most fun passive skills in the game. I don't think his passive is better than Zamasu's, but I think overall as a character he probably still edges out Zamasu a little bit. So for that reason, maybe I'll put him right here. Maybe I'll regret this when I, you know, sit down and edit this and think about it a little bit more later. But for right now, I think Baby is still somewhere mid A tier. Caulifla, Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla is still another character that is easily A tier. Where do I want to put her? Probably right here in front of 18. I feel like Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla is probably, along with Cooler, next up on the chopping block for nerfs. Provoked is absolutely annoying, and the fact that a character like this has access to the General Rildo helper, she is just so annoying to deal with, man. Her ultimate attack allowing her to move around while she aims it and things like that. Caulifla is just so strong. Her barrier is one of the strongest in the game, being able to move characters around, and it's absolutely massive at level 3. Her skill number 1, Storm Kick, is absolutely massive at level 3, and the fact that it applies Provoke to whoever it hits in that wide, super wide arc, and then after you get hit with Provoke, you're just gonna start taking so much damage. She's able to get more movement speed up off of her barrier, and then like I said earlier, being able to move around with her super attack, which is something that I wish Bojack could do. The amount of health and shield that this character starts to build up after a certain point in the game, they are just absolutely oppressive, man. Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla, probably the least fun tank to go up against in my honest opinion. Some of you guys will say Cell, some of you guys will say Cooler. I hate going against Super Saiyan 2 Caulifla. Until they adjust her at some point in the future, she is easily going to be an S tier character. Hopefully they do. I don't want them to absolutely kill her, but she definitely needs some tweaks here and there. But for right now, easily an S tier character. Daima Goku. Now, I caught a lot of flack for where I put Daima Goku on our last tier list, but I'm gonna just tell you guys right now, he's not gonna make as massive of a move on my tier list this time as Kid Gohan did, even though I do think he's a lot better than I gave him credit for last time. Daima Goku, I think he's somewhere mid A tier. around this Oob, between Oob and Trunks. I don't know if I would necessarily put him in front of Oob. There's a lot of cool stuff that Daim Goku is able to do. His damage over time is absolutely ridiculous with the Pansy Wasabi Bomb. Being able to nuke the bomb with Glorio's lightning and just the damage that the lightning does in general. He doesn't really have any mobility at all. He has what I would kind of call pseudo range, where he doesn't necessarily have the best range outside of the increased range that's given on his rush attack, but he does have the Wasabi Bomb that he's able to hit with the power pole, and he also has Glorio's lightning. His super attack though is extremely strong. That I can't take away from Daim Goku. His super attack is able to secure so many kills that otherwise you wouldn't be able to with just your regular kit. So I feel like for these reasons, I'm comfortable putting him in mid A tier. So when it comes to the Gammas, my opinion of these characters hasn't really changed that much from season 0. I still think they're extremely good, but I also still think they're some of the most player dependent characters on the entire roster. I think I would probably still put them above Oob though. I think the player is what takes this character from either B tier to A tier. I don't think they're an S tier character yet, but it definitely takes a lot of micromanaging to really, you know, get the proper utilization out of both of the Gamma's lives and know when to revive them, know when to swap, you know, in the effective manner. Definitely one of the characters that it takes a lot of practice to get good with. But if you're a good Gamma player, you know, kudos to you, man. You definitely put in the hours. When this character is good, they're great. When they're not, you kind of feel like it's a 3v4. Next is Cell. I don't know, man. Is Cell a top 2 character? Cell might be a top 2 character in the game. If I'm glazing this guy, let me know down below in the comments. But bioenergy, guys, I promise you, I've been able to transform as soon as level 5 with this character before, and when he transforms, he just gets absolutely insane. The Hell in a Cell is still one of the craziest moves in the entire game. Being able to section off your opponent from the rest of their team, and you can just nuke the character with, oh my bro, it just gets absolutely insane with this guy. His energy barrier, whether he's evolved, or I said evolved, whether he's transformed or not, does absolutely devastating damage. Being able to bear hug people from behind and stun them and then blow them up with your skill 1, and then having the regeneration with skill 3, guys, Cell is just one of the most complete all-around characters in the game to me. Maybe to you guys I'm giving him too much credit. I think Cell is easily one of the best characters in the game. Super Saiyan Kale, ultimate attack, the character, right? I think Kale rightfully has to go up here in the top 5 in my opinion. Her ultimate attack just makes the entire character, like when she transforms, there's literally, you have to leave. When Kale transforms, there's almost nothing you can do to her unless your entire team is fighting this character. If it's a 1v1 and she pops that ult, you're pretty much done, man. There's been scenarios where I knew it was coming. I tried to preemptively run away. She popped that ult and just hawked me down, man. It is so oppressive to deal with a Super Saiyan Kale when she transforms using her ult. But the rest of her kit, I'm not really too scared of. I feel like you kind of have to give the credit to this character's ult, in that it puts her in S tier, but if they ever nerf her ult, I feel like she might have one of the most drastic fall offs in the tier list, at least out of almost any character. So I'm gonna kind of keep an eye on how they, you know, develop Kale in the coming updates. Definitely a character to look out for. Hopefully they don't change her too much, or if they do nerf her ult, they make the rest of her kit stronger, because there is a just Grand Canyon size difference between the rest of her kit and her ult. And yet you can say that about other characters, but at least other characters feel like they have a complete kit. I don't necessarily feel like that with Kale. She just, her entire gimmick is her ultimate. I feel like I want to put Android 17 somewhere around DAIMA Goku and Baby. Android 17, some of the best utility in the game. Android barrier is one of the bro, I love a good Android 17 player, and I love playing Android 17 as well. It's just something about saving your teammates from like a Kamehameha from Super Saiyan 3 Goku or Super Saiyan 3 Goku, or a Spirit Bomb or a Supernova or something like that. It's just something about popping that shield at the right time, that barrier. It just makes it all worth it. Even if you lose the game, getting 1 or 2 good saves, it just makes you feel like you made all the difference. The rest of his kit, I feel like his skill 2 is something that's still really underutilized for some reason. I know everyone likes barrier ball. I know everyone likes the barrier in itself, skill 1 and skill 3, and also his ultimate attack. I feel like even at the high B, low A ranks, I don't really see skill 2 getting utilized that often with 17. I know people like to prioritize his barrier and his barrier ball for changing buffs into debuffs, but his skill 2 is what allows him to stagger people. So maybe that's just not, you know, the gameplay loop that people like to go for with 17, but you know, in those later game scenarios, that could actually be really good. So you know, for all those reasons, I feel like 17, I think this is relatively around where we had him in our first tier list, maybe give or take a couple of spots to the downside. But for right now, I really like where 17 is. And looking at this, I would actually probably move Frieza up here. Is it crazy to move Frieza up this much to put him in mid A tier? I feel like being at the bottom of A tier is just doing a massive disservice to this character. He is extremely good. Zarbon is extremely good. Dodoria is extremely good. Obviously, you're able to, you know, destroy these turrets of his, and then it takes longer for them to, you know, come off a cooldown. But if he's able to set up in the right areas, there's just not really much you can do unless you take an extreme detour around the map to be able to get behind these turrets. And Frieza is more than likely, you know, just sitting behind them waiting for you to do that, right? Imperial Decree increasing the attack speed of both of his turrets. It's just, I really love Frieza, man. Maybe you guys will disagree with where I'm putting Frieza now, but I really like this character a lot. Next is Hit. I feel like Hit could probably still go around this area, and I don't think Hit could ever be better than this with the way his kit works right now. And I had a long conversation about this in the comments with somebody a couple of weeks ago. The way Hit's kit works right now, being able to turn invisible and sneak onto a base and get a Gekishin burst. I even did this in my Hit video if you guys want to go back and see. Being able to turn invisible with his ultimate, go onto a base, they don't know you're there the whole time you're doing a burst, and then just get that burst for free. That's a little bit too strong. They can never buff this character with his kit being as it is right now. So for that reason, I feel like Hit has to at best be mid A tier, and they can't really do anything to make him better than that unless they fundamentally change how his kit works. And then, like we were just mentioning, being able to use his ultimate attack to go completely invisible, sneak onto a base while they're probably playing defense and don't even know he's there, get that uncontested burst, and then get out of there for free is just a little too strong in my opinion. Now, I don't really go up against too many hits at this point in time, especially with, you know, the introduction of Super Saiyan Gotenks, but Hit will find his way back into the meta again, and as he should be. He's the sneakiest character in the game, but until they really think about changing his skill 3 and his ultimate attack, I don't think they could ever buff this character. So if they never happen to do that, he will probably permanently be a mid A tier character in my opinion. Now, last but not least, onto our two latest DLC characters, Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Probably at this point in time, ever since the nerfs to Super Saiyan Goku, I think he definitely edges him out a little bit. His beam is absolutely devastating. I've been able to kill people on their base while they're healing with Super Saiyan 3 Goku's fully charged Kamehameha. I think it has a little bit more range than Super Saiyan Goku's Kamehameha as well, even with Kaioken active. Instant transmission, being able to teleport to anybody on the map and have that fully charged Kamehameha as soon as you get there. Absolutely devastating if you're able to, you know, aim it in the right direction as soon as you get there. His second skill, I don't remember the name of it, but again, being able to just pounce on people while they're healing on base and then instantly teleport back to where you press the skill from. And Dragon Fist being one of the strongest outside of maybe Special Beam Cannon and possibly like Destructo Disc or something like that, probably being one of the most powerful ultimate attacks in the game. It is just absolutely devastating, man. I love this character. I know people wanted him nerfed alongside Super Saiyan Goku, but the fact that this is a pay to win character, I guess you could say, they probably won't nerf him anytime soon, especially not this season, but we'll see how the rest of the seasons go. I don't know if I necessarily want to place him above Cell. Possibly. Maybe I'll put him above Cell for right now. Let me know what you guys think about this placement in particular. I'm kind of iffy about this though. These two could maybe be interchanged. I don't know. You guys let me know down below in the comments. But finally, last but not least, the character that I have been spending hours and hours on ever since he released, Super Saiyan Gotenks. Now, like I said, I've spent a lot of time on this character. There's a lot of cool niche stuff that I found out, probably too much to even explain in the couple of minutes that we have left in the video because I don't want to make this too extremely long. Exaltation, his passive skill, one of the most fun passive skills in the game. Is going to give you that movement speed up to yourself and allies when KOing or assisting with the KO of an enemy hero. So those much needed team wipes or much needed team fight wins at the end of the game, you're able to just blitz the enemy bases before they even have a chance chance of respawning, able to close those games out really cleanly. Galactic Donut, probably the skill in his kit that I use or that I prioritize the least, but still able to pull those enemies back towards you and your teammates. Super Ghost, probably my favorite skill in the entire game, his skill 3. Now you're able to summon these ghosts in 3 different scenarios. You're able to summon them to a target, being an enemy or a dragon shell, being able to put them on yourself or an ally hero, or just in a random place on the map in front of you or behind you somewhere. So you're able to set them up on bases, you're able to set them up on yourself or your teammate early game, so whenever you go into that first fight, you have that, you know, extra little bit of help from the Super Ghost that's gonna apply movement speed down whenever they hit an enemy. Or you can just send them straight to the dragon shell at the end of the game and they're gonna take care of that mess for you, right? I love this attack so much. You're able to do so many different cool things with it. I mentioned it in my last Gotenks video that there's an interaction between the Super Ghost and Majin Buu's Strangle Gum. They pretty much just tank the Strangle Gum for you and you have this big pink blob of a ghost just following you around behind you. I don't know for sure, but I would love to see if there's any interaction with the Super Ghost in hit while he's invisible. If there is, this character is absolutely broken. And then his ultimate attack or his super attack, Super Ghost Kamikaze attack, is just freaking devastating, man. This rain of ghosts is just gonna follow the enemy wherever they go. And then if you have your skill 3 chasing them as well, they literally just explode. Gotenks, one of the coolest, best characters in the game in my opinion. I think he rightfully deserves to be at the top of S tier. And then his skill 1 hyper ultra super combo, I don't think I've ever seen tracking to this extent on a skill in this game before. It doesn't matter how they try to get away from you. If you're able to click this skill onto an opponent, Gotenks will hawk them down like they stole his lunch money or something, man. Now there are certain scenarios where I don't really know what happened, but the last hit of this combo wasn't able to connect with the enemy. They were able to slip out of there just in time. But more often than not, if you're able to just click this ability on an opponent, they're gonna feel the full force of hyper ultra super combo, man. I love this character's kit. I love this character in itself. Gotenks, one of the most well-made characters in the entire game in my opinion. Now I still really hate that we have to pay for all of the new characters in this game because I want everybody to experience the type of fun that I have when I play characters like Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Super Saiyan Gotenks, especially my favorite character in the game right now. So hopefully eventually they'll look into that. One thing that I do kind of want to change on this tier list before we get out of here, I think I want to move Caulifla up a little bit. I'll probably move her. I think putting her up here with Kale is very warranted. Piccolo, maybe I'm giving him a little bit too much credit. I'll move him down a little bit just because I feel like his kit overall is better than Kale's. I'll probably still keep him above Kale. I think this looks a lot better though. Caulifla being that low, it was kind of rubbing me the wrong way. I was looking at that the whole time we were recording. But this is gonna be it for my season 1.5 tier list for Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Like I said before, there's no bad characters in this game. I don't care if I have Vegeta and Bojack down here. This is like okay territory, right? Like they're good, this is great, this is top tier. So I feel like as long as nobody ever reaches that C tier territory, the game is in a good spot. But anyways, fellas, let me know what you think down below in the comments. Let me know some characters that you want to see nerfs or buffs for in the future, and potential DLC characters in season 2 as well. But anyways, fellas, have a great day. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out, my boys.